That's not right. There we go. Must accidentally hit the hotkey for that one. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is Monday once again, and that means it is time for another...
Take this love.
Tality have restricted 10 subscriptions to the community.
It means for another extremely generous donation from BTA Lady Havoc, and it means it is time for another Monday grab bag. And it also means it is time for me to really turn down those notifications already. They're too loud. Anyway, where was I? Today's...
A good thing.
Geeky Manatee just subscribed with Prime.
What a lovely problem to have. Thank you, everyone. Today we are looking at the works of N. McCoy, a developer who has made quite a few different small form things, and we will be taking a look at two of my personal favorites, one of which is a larger scale experience called Dragondot 3, which is what we will be starting with. Link here in the chat. It can be purchased for $2 in order to get the overworld map, the soundtrack, and a standalone copy. I believe... I'm not sure whether the web version is playable for free or not. Might be. And then after that, we will be looking at Wavespark 3, Tawasu no Wasowele. And then after that, we will be going and looking at 4 very short games by fellow streamer Tsuneko. Tsuneko is a Japanese streamer that is versed enough in reading and speaking English to be able to parse English language indie games, and has a similar focus on looking at very small scale stuff and freeware things and browsing through itch in the same way that I do. I first caught note of their work because they were the only other person I found who did a stream and playthrough of Dream Affection Sleepy Planet by Mimi, the artist who did my version of Moo. Tsuneko, you familiar? But yes, I first learned about them from that, and while they do speak Japanese in their streams, I will note that if you like my work, you very well might like theirs as well, but they have a system that automatically translates what they say into English text at the bottom of the stream for accessibility. But with all that out of the way, I have a lot of browser-based games with windows that will hopefully work correctly as I resize them and as I full screen them. So let's fire this up and hope it works correctly. I love Tsuneko. They've streamed a bunch of my friends' games. Yeah, I aspire to do the kind of things they do. Tsuneko seems absolutely wonderful, and I feel it's only fair for me to do a quick look at their stuff too. They do that for so many other developers, and I want to give them the chance to experience it from the other side. Let's go. Okay, 4:3 layout. Incorrect window. Let's see if... I'm gonna just recapture it here. Window capture. There. That should work, and now if I full screen this, and then relayer it. There. Dragondot 3. I can tell from y'all that we are hearing the music correctly, So let me know if the audio balance between the music and game and everything is fine between my voice. But let's just fire this up. We are immediately presented with a menu, and we have a list of skills. We know no skill. We don't have any known skills, and we have 4 skills that are free to learn. And before we can leave the cave, we have to purchase all of them. So for 0 gold, we can get Fire Breath, which we charge up with X. Hatchling Leap. Tap square to jump, and dodge melee. Covetousness, carry 25 gold per skill level. Natural weapons, tap X to claw and bite. And then for 10 gold, we can get Draconic Pride, we can get Projected Avarice, and Lunging Bite, and various other things. Covetousness. I love them. Game volume might be a little loud here. One sec. There. That should equalize it a little. So this game is inspired by... In the description below the game, mentions inspiration from classic Zelda for the NES. And so you can see in the upper left, that is actually a world map that is highlighting which places we have and have not been. But we've got a combo attack. If we tap X 3 times, //. And yeah, this game was made in Pico 8, which is... How to describe it? Pico 8 describes itself as a fantasy console, which is a free-to-download web-based programming language and console limitation that is intended to be interesting from a developer standpoint to work within. And so its capacities are kind of similar to the NES, but with different limitations that are designed to be interesting. Push room. If I run up and claw them twice, I can take them out. Soup Dilemma saying, "You playtested this game. Heck yeah." If we hold the attack button, we can charge up. Hello, soul. Really love the names of things in this game. We've got Goblin, we've got Hoblin. We'll be seeing some other very silly shortenings of various creature names. Okay, I gotta get out of here. Get home. We now have a hoard of 23 gold. Launch forward when biting. Kobolds are very fragile and careful things, and you need to be very careful when interacting with them. I recommend just having your finger completely off the attack button. These poor little fellows have only 1 health, so protect them kindly, okay? Ah yes, on the beach we encounter the Pinch. They pinch you. Gently like a hamburger. Interesting question there, Kippers. Not the same team, but PicoCAD, as in PicoCAD 1, as in the first version of PicoCAD, was actually a computer-aided design program that was built within the limitations of Pico 8. It was called PicoCAD because it was a computer-aided design program, CAD, on Pico 8. And so, PicoCAD itself was not made by the people who made Pico 8, but was rather a feat of strength showing that, oh my god, you made a 3D modeling program that works on this thing that has practically NES limitations, which is a fantastic feat to be sure. And then PicoCAD 2 was later made as a sequel to it that was not made within the Pico 8 limitations, but keeping some of the fascinating aspects and ease of use that PicoCAD original operate under. So the resolution is the same, but the processing power is significantly increased, and its ability to render stuff, etc. PicoCAD original was fascinating, but it was one of those things where if you had 4 cubes, it started to chug. There's an orb of treasure there. We're being lunged at by a wolf. That's as much gold as we can carry. Back to base. More carry capacity for gold. Yeah, if I recall correctly, Picotron is another fantasy console that is designed to be closer to early PC kind of stuff, like PC 98-ish, in a very, very vague sense. Something like that. We will actually be taking a look at a Picotron game immediately after this one. Should be safe to wander around here more. Oh! Okay. Oh. Friend room. Incidentally, Wavespark 3 is a Picotron game. Exactly what I'm talking about. That's what we're looking at next. The wolves and the goblins are teaming up. Sorry, the wolves and the goblins. Fighting a ninja is an act of timing. As long as you can get the timing down, they're not that difficult. That becomes a problem if there's multiple enemies along with the ninja, though. They require kind of a singular focus to deal with. Oh. The map disappeared. We teleported. Oh. Purple. Having each of the creatures be circles is definitely useful for saving on sprite count, but armchair non-Pico 8 developer here, so don't take my word as particular gospel here, but I'm not sure that this uses enough sprites since it uses a tile-based system for the world map. So honestly, it might be a stylistic choice more than a actual necessity. Oh, really? Map uses up all available graphic spaces, no one's left with sprites. I thought that it being single-colored tiles means that you could essentially make them singular pixels, potentially, and then scale those up in order to render the map. Something like that. Nonetheless, though, there is a Dragondot 1, and I think a Dragondot 2. So, the idea of the dragon being, well, a dot is something that's been done a few times. And so there's definitely an argument to be made for it being a stylistic choice at this point. First claw doesn't knock away. Bonus health based on how much gold you have, and gain health when you collect gold. Treasure orb. Orb. What were those? A hopling and a buzzorb. Those are a little awkward to fight. That works. Oh! Boss fight, kind of. Eek! Oh. Buzzorb, not buzzorb. Frightening orbs. Another symbol on the ground. Anything to find in these walls? The Pico 8 is capable of delivering mind-blowing graphics. Rock, that's what it's called. Whoops. Money. Goliaths and Wilsps. The Goliaths appear to have 1 armor, so if I do a 1 damage attack, it doesn't work. But my bite does too. Wilsp. Like the only way I can deal with these is by pushing them against the wall and then quick hop slashing. And if I go too high, then I'll actually get hit by the fire pulse. To heck with that. To heck with that. I maxed out on gold. Uh-oh. It's a duel. Immune to fire. Okay, I got this. Acquired rocket jump. I Whoa. What is this place? We're home. Missed you, loves. Covet more. Ha! Doing 6 sequence breaks. So you charge up your fire breath, then jump and immediately do the full combo slash. And because the bite sends you forward, because I have that upgrade, I can actually cover quite a bit of distance that way. It also looks like using the claw attacks themselves delays your fall speed a little. Lets you hang in the air ever so slightly. See that? Oh no, the Burble Dungeon. Rocket Jumping Dragon Orb. Burble. Feels a lot of fun. A lot of things that are just fun to vocalize in this game. Wolf, Burble, Wolf, Woof. Peach. Ah, not quite. Ow. Okay, but... Nope. Eek. Let's see if I can find... I think I might have explored all of this corner. Yeah, I think this is everything I can do here. For the moment, at least. Ever since I broke that one wall and found something behind it, I'm suspicious of all walls now. Star Tropics. That game was hard. I remember that there was like a graveyard area in that game, and like the graveyard itself wasn't the hard part for me, but I remember going through the graveyard segment over and over because there was some part immediately after it that was really difficult, and it didn't save in between. So I had to do the graveyard segment over and over and over again in Star Tropics. Oh! I think I see something. Look. The wall's got a offset pixel right up there. Another lovely kobold room. Yeah. History lesson for the youngins in here. DRM has existed in games for maybe longer than you might expect. Copy protection is what the original term for it was, and it took the form back then of being something in the game's manual that was necessary, a piece of information in the game's manual that was necessary to progress in the game past a certain point. And so, there's a couple different famous examples of this. The original release of Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation, one of the puzzles required you to get Meryl's codec. To contact Meryl through the codec, I believe. I think it was her. And the only way to know that, apart from just trying one by one all 100 possibilities, is to look at the back of the jewel case, and you are told to do that directly by one of the characters. Because one of the sample images on the back of the box for the game has a screenshot of Snake in a codec call with Meryl with the actual radio frequency visible. Nowadays, that sort of thing would be considered like a meta puzzle, but back then it was a method of copy protection. Code wheels, yes. What's it called? Guybrush Threepwood, Mighty Pirate. Monkey Island famously had the Dial a Pirate code wheel, where it was a spinnable piece of cardstock on top of another piece of cardstock, and it would contain like two halves of a pirate, and when you turn the dial around, it would swap around the halves. And you needed to dial a specific pirate and then input the correct code that appears when you create that pirate using the code wheel. So some people had fun with it, but melee crits on foes who miss. Can critical hit with fire by proper timing. Let's see. Yeah, the Switch store, the Nintendo Switch version of Star Tropics has a very cute gimmick. Star Tropics' DRM was actually kind of famous because they did a very clever, interesting gimmick with it. There is a letter that you received that set the events in motion for Star Tropics. Not a secret. Big kobold love. Mini kobolds, yay! And you were supposed to get a, like, coordinates to something in order to progress through the game. And the coordinates are actually written on that piece of paper, but in a type of printing method where the text only appears if you soak that piece of paper in water. I kid you not. So the manual had a piece of paper, the manual for Star Tropics had a piece of paper that you would detach from the manual, dunk in water, and detaching from the manual means it was really dangerous, because that means it's very easy to lose now, because it's not physically attached anymore. You dunk it in water, and then text would gradually appear telling you where the coordinates are that you need to go to. And so for the Nintendo Switch re-release of it, they have the manual implemented, but they actually programmed a special thing where you can look at that page, and then there's a button prompt for bucket of water, and then it does a little animation of dunking it and showing the text appear. Very cute solution. Fold it into it, not attached. I think my only experience with seeing it is someone who ripped it out fully, so. Actoid. Can't attack it directly. Diablo D3 there, giving proper context to the exact mechanics of it, because it's been a very long time and I'm operating from just memory. I was going to say something here, and then my core kicked in and said, "Be careful with your phrasing," because I was going to say, I like how in this game a lot of the secret rooms are just simply kobold love caves, and the rooms where the kobolds love you. Aw. Anything over here? Kobold rooms have a use. They'll come up eventually, I'm sure. Outside of... Actually, you know what? Wait. I could do this. Oh, I can't do this. Let me go and make a very quick adjustment here. I wanted to do a silly stream gimmick, and I cannot at the way it's currently set up. There. Tap side of nose. I'm sure it'll come up eventually. We've been through here already. There are many bounties of many different kinds on Steam, several of which should probably not be discussed here, considering that all the games I'm playing are family-friendly this time. Steam is a wonderful place filled with a fantastical amount of fascinating artwork for many different varieties of audiences. Wait. Oh, I'm maxed out already. Again. Which means I'm going to maybe oh. What a lovely environment. The beautiful blue sky as we look over off the edge of this cliff. The sun is shining. I like the silly discovery in this game. Not everything in a game has to have a purpose, you know? Although who knows, maybe that does have a purpose. We'll find out. Maybe. Get me out of here. I had the mouse cursor on screen. Whoops. There's one tile below us that we haven't visited. Yeah, I just scooted off screen. Okay. I'll look at that after I revisit home. I'll save up. So in theory... Here we go. Looks like this is a maybe early game dungeon that I just missed by pure coincidence. Yep. Should be pretty easy at this point then. Combo Claw. A scary skull symbol on the ground. Crystal Links. Okay, that was cool. Light. It's even got hit stop and like color. Very good game feel on that. Reflect during claw attack. Tribute. Kobolds offer money sometimes. Holy moly! I love you too, buddy. Nope. Was worth a try. As my partner in crime and streaming often says, oh, so cutes. Kobold cheers restore health. Perhaps the kobolds need time in order to build up money to give me. Implying some sort of kobold money hive mind? And that all the kobolds have a shared kobold bank account. There we go. Treasure orb. Legend and wings. We can double jump. Right, I forgot we had magnetism if we charge up our fire attack. Okay, we've been through here. Pinch. Dragons are cool. Zombies. It will be co-billed to your regular account in rough gold. Standard payment in rough diamonds will be transferred. That line from Far Cry 2 will never stop being funny to me. Standard payment in rough diamonds will be transferred to your account upon completion. The notable digital resource. Diamonds. I mean, sure, you could argue that there's a broader definition of account there, but... it always just parts to me as we are doing a wire transfer for your money in terms of sending gemstones through the internet to you. Scary. We're far from our kobold friends in our home. Ghost. Right, careful timing. Any ghost of a ghost? Any ghost of a ghost of a ghost? I promise I'll get back to that game someday. The ending to Loop Hero is absolutely worth seeing, and I do want to show it off in all of its glory. But I still need to figure out a good timing that doesn't relegate to like a off-hours time. And also do, as I mentioned, grinding in order to get myself in a position where I can get that victory consistently. The ending of that game is so worth it. Just, I kind of underestimated how much buildup of resources you need to do before I get there. Because on my previous streams, I was getting completing one chapter per episode, just barely. And so I thought, okay, two more episodes, then we'll surely do it. And nope. Recently finished off a different game as well that I'm now certain that I want to stream. A couple of you might know what that is, but big things in the works, etc., etc. Big things in the works. Ever since the computer crash and everything, I'm now ready to proceed on getting that brief intro set up, along with a few other goodies. And then I still feel like I might have missed something in here. Maybe it was kind of like I went through this backwards. I was supposed to approach from the other direction. Yeah, I think that's all it is. Also, it's really cute how this immediately reads as a graveyard, just because there's equidistant gray squares. Like, think about that. Gray squares with a dark line below them is literally all you... Equidistant gray squares with a dark line below them is literally all you need in order to give the impression of graveyard. Iridolia is a very strong force. Into the crypt. Immune to physical. Delays after 3 hits. Yeah. Phase fire. Your fire goes through walls. Recognize that? That's a teleporter out. Not yet. Whoa. Goodness gracious. Anything we can do on this? I have the tool to defeat it. I know what I need to do. That's all I need to hear. Yep. I figured it out. I have the power to be its enemy. Let me heal first. Let's do this. Reflected. Concussive flame. More fire breath knockback. Sekiro's got nothing on this. Yippee! That sound effect is just so cute. Beedler, beedler. The giant. Clowned on. Giant strength. Don't think there's a way to the right from down here, but I want to check again anyway. Yeah. And you can only screen transition while you are on the ground, so jumping over the ocean is never an answer. So I can't do stuff like that, you know? little fellas. I think we've been... Yeah, this leads to the graveyard. That respawns. Oh! It's like an anti-kobold room. A chamber of a million pinches. And one of them chases you out the door. This game's adorable. I love it. The next game we'll be playing here is by the same developer as mentioned, and McCoy. And it has a patch note that I fundamentally love underneath it. The patch note is made instructions more vague. Willfully detutorialized game. It's nice when games trust you enough to let you work things out on your own. There's of course room for both. But I find that sort of puzzle solving or just experimenting to figure out what I'm capable of doing, what my limitations are, what the controls are, etc. to be a neat little puzzle. Yep. Awesome if it's done right, can be a huge pain if it's done wrong. And also, there's no guarantee that right or wrong is going to match between players. Everyone's gonna miss something obvious. I recently played a game that had a fire spell as a very significant thing, and it would light all the tiles around you on fire. And I thought that's very kind of useless, because that puts a hard limit on the fire will spread over time, but since you can only light a fire at the start of the timeline, I thought there's a hard limit on how much fire I can ultimately cause. But it turns out if you just recast the fire spell during the planning phase, the tiles that start on fire will spread amongst those, so every tile adjacent to the tiles on fire also become on fire. And I just never thought to try clicking the start a fire button a second time. Herbal in the Oasis. Damp yet dignified. Don't lose health when falling into liquids. Explored most of the map at this point. Waterproof orb. That's cute. You can teleport back to the lair, but drop all your money. And you can straight up just turn on "You are incapable of dying" as an option. That's nice. Wonder, wonder. I wonder if there's some kind of grand secret that I'm missing. It kind of feels like it with some areas having symbols written on the floor. No. Interesting. We're allowed to refight bosses. Oh! Okay. That warps you to the absolute corner. Okay. Thanks, little buddy. Ah. Right, I'm going to return back to my hideout. Cave of treasure. And maybe call it there for this game. Move on to the next one. There's one orb I still am missing. A hidden boss. But yes, this game is available on itch.io. And for the pay what you want price of $2 or more, you can get an overworld map, the original soundtrack, and standalone copies of the game. And then, once again, here is a link to the game itself on itch.io. And let's set up for the next one. Next, we are going to be playing Wavespark 3 Tawasu no Wasawele. Again, very fun to say. No category for it. Excellent. No category. All right. Let's see here. Good. Capture the correct window immediately this time. Developer describes the game as thus: a long overdue sequel to an obscure one-button game I made aeons ago, which inspired some better-known descendants. Hold X to increase gravity. Race rightward through checkpoints if you want. My record so far is 13. And yeah, Update 11, fancier ocean, subtle sand sound, dynamic music. Update 12, made instructions less clear, many sound improvements. Friendly dolphin gives you bubbles. And then various other updates, including the last one being Mi Lili I Wawa Pi Kalama Anpa. Let me go and put that in the chat. If anyone happens to be familiar and literate with Tokipona, I'd love a translation for that. I could do it myself, but I'd be manually translating it word by word. The name of this game is also Tokipona. Tawasuno Wasowele is... Oh, I decreased the strength of gravity. Thank you. Tawasuno Wasowele is something along the lines of activity, bright or sun, or shine, something like that. Activity, bright, egg-laying and then wasowele is actually a mixture of two different words, waso and sowele, and that is bird mammal. Decrease the strength of the base, gravity. Gotcha. So, shine activity of bird mammal. Platypus, maybe? Tokipona is a fascinating language because it requires interpretation and context of what the simple language means, just based on the environment you find it in. And so wasowele might be platypus or some other similar creature that is a mammal, because that's what sowele refers to, and waso, I believe, is bird or avian or egg-laying, and there are a couple of egg-laying mammals, so... let's see. Let's fire it up. Waso, bird, sowele, animal, beast. Let's turn this up. I love the music in this game. So if we hold X, we become shiny. Other buttons do nothing. Hold X to increase your own personal gravity. And thus, fly forward by shoving yourself toward the ground. The song is makes me really happy because it is a remix of the original Wavespark music. XO1 is an interpretation of this concept in 3D, yes. XO1 is another game that we've highlighted for a Monday grab bag. Oh. The dolphin seems to have made a bubble for us, but it popped the moment we touched the ground. God. And yes, this game is absolutely gorgeous. The water effects in this game are frankly astounding for how simple they are and how incredibly effective they are. The fact that you can see the sun shining off the ripples in the water, and that the ripples are implied only through the use of lines that are expanding and contracting in width. And the implication of what's parallax by having all the maximum size of the lines in the far ones be smaller, which implies a equal size of all these little ripples in the water, but a distance difference between them, done exclusively through the use of simply just having the lines be different sizes. Beautiful water in this game. Yes, but like unironically, completely, truly. Warm-up time. Follow that dolphin. Dynamic music, too. I have not heard that song. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, some of the Tribes games have similar hill skating mechanics, also in 3D. XO1 and Tribes are definitely a pair of games that have a variant of this idea expanded in the 3D realm. Once you go fast enough, the light bar appears and encourages you to go even faster. It becomes a race. Let's hit the bubble this time. Uh-oh. There we go. Oh, that was such a perfect landing there. There's some deep satisfaction to be found in this game with just nailing a ramp. Absolutely cruising now. Guess we're going into the sun. Wait, the sun's over there. Never mind. Ah, there goes our speed record. Time trial. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 checkpoints hit, is what that means. Or what that's displaying, rather. I believe that the text in this game is a sort of stylized Satellinpona. I may be mispronouncing that, but Tokipona's written form. Heavily stylized. The stream in which Moo silently sits here and pilots a bird across the ocean side. Aw, the dolphin's following me this way too. Yeah, the ground deformation when you slam it. Really sells it. Nap time for little birdie. Brown birdies are made by people. Oh yes, this game is made in Picotron, as mentioned. You can play it on the web for yourself right there. Wavespark 3, Tawasuno Wasawere. And I think now I'm going to move on to Tsuneko's stuff. So let me get Tsuneko's itch page set up. As a reminder and a thank you, these games were made by N. McCoy, and they are lovely. They have several other projects that they've released on various platforms, some of which are on the official Lexilawful BBS, some of which are prototypes strewn about in other places. But Dragondot 3 and Wavespark 3 are easily accessed through either of those two links that I gave. So let's fire up Tsuneko's page. Okay. I should be in the other layout for these. Cha-cha-cha. Something like this. So the first thing we have is Tsuneko and Neko Meow Meow Meow, which is apparently a comic. I've never seen this particular engine before for making a mini comic book, but it's rather charming. Pet pet. Meow. There's a little antenna or something. Oh no. Oh. Oh, I think I see it. The antenna is removed, and then it splits into two. Meow. Meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Quantum cat. Tsuneko. And that's one. On to the next. Tsuneko Adventure Prologue. Tsuneko the Blue Kitten is off on an adventure. Grab your favorite items and set out on an adventurous journey. Okay, once again I'm going to have to adjust this live. It's an English meow. Space to meow or put items on your back. Q to remove items from your back. Tomatoes from the tomato tree. Cat tomato tree. We can just There's a gap in the... Oh! Worm, 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 worm. I think I found an Easter egg. I'm trapped. I got trapped in Worm Dimension. That was really funny because I genuinely thought that I found a gap in the world geometry, but then I tried going further out of bounds and got warped there. You were such a soft-locked kitten. You were just a soft-locked. I am a worm. It's a beautiful day. I want a burger. I'll give you a boat. Keep it stylish. Meow. Yeah. Rice ball. Rice balls are not burgers. Worms can be trusted with burger. Okay. Oh, you're from the comic. I'm so glad you came all this way, my sweet Tsuneko. Want a burger? Oh, the ultimate. Ah, the secret is hidden in the lower left corner of this map. Tree. Tree. We have collected burger. Wow, a hamburger! I'll try a bite. Yum! Thanks, I'll give you this. Rabbit mode. I'll give you a boat. Keep it stylish, meow. Some manner of rabbit creature. Well, 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 did Sune Bunny come to see me? I should try, let's just try giving all the different objects to him. Nothing special. Nothing special. Come on, get in. We're gonna have a smash and grab at sea, aren't we? Boing. Yippee! Tsuneko adventure begins now. Meow. Thanks for playing. Yippee! On to the next. Tsuneko apple. Tsuneko, a tortoiseshell cat, will grow up collecting apples. Oh, heck yeah. This is the good stuff. Oh. That was expanding the size. There we go. English. Tsuneko, a tortoiseshell cat, will grow up collecting apples. When you see the game clear text somewhere, the game is clear. WSD to move, mouse camera, spacebar jump, shift to run. You can collect even more apples after you clear the game, as a tip, but don't do it if the game gets too heavy. Understood, I think. It's really important to remember that this is what learning how to make games looks like. It's a world of experimentation and slapping things together without too much worry about polish or making it presentable. Many orbs of many designs. We have a score of 5 of My Little Kitten. A worm! A worm dances out of bounds. It takes a lot of courage, honestly, to create stuff like this and share it with the world, because there's a lot of folks that will create something simple and then feel self-conscious about it, and it never gets shown to the rest of the world. Oh, we speed up every time we level up. But I love when I get to see I am an adult kitten. The door opens. Maybe. Yes. It's always lovely to see someone's sort of just experimental toying around, feeling out what a game engine is capable of and what it is not. Apples are everywhere. Let's go. Sleepy Planet vibe. How appropriate. As I had mentioned before, Tsuneko has Elegant Kitten. Tsuneko has done a playthrough on YouTube of Dream Affection Sleepy Planet. If someone in the chat doesn't mind, pulling up the itch link to Dream Affection Sleepy Planet by Mimi, who is the artist behind my model here. She's the one who brought Moo to life, and I am endlessly grateful. And also, in the comments to Sleepy Planet is Tsuneko posting a YouTube link to their playthrough of it. So, if someone could post both of those. Tsuneko versus Pikachu. Score 41, cuter than a Pikachu kitten. The more apples we collect, the cuter we become. Scroll down in that page, Kippers, into the comments, and you should see Tsuneko posting a YouTube link to their playthrough of that game. Kitten of Kitten. The apples. Your own kitten. Score 100. We are becoming faster and the apples accelerate. Let's see here. Yep, that's the one. Thank you. So many cat friends here to congratulate us. Ooh, invisible cat friend. Meow! Game clear! We did it! As the instruction said, if we find the words game clear, we've cleared the game. Oh, hang on. There we go. Heading into the stratosphere. And yeah, the game is starting to get laggy. It looks like more apples have appeared. Let's play around more. Bobo the Kitten is my new ranking. Sylvie Kitten! We are such a soft and round kitten. We are just so soft and round. Let's have a lot of fun in the world. A Sylvie kitten is a very powerful type of kitten. For any unfamiliar here, Sylvie is a game developer who has made...
To another place.
Exactly. Who has made the game that I use that sound clip from. Has made a ton of indie games for a very, very extended career. And one of the very first things I did as a streamer was do the Sylvie Games Extravaganza, where I played through a bunch of my favorites of her works. And looks like Tsuneko is a big fan as well. Arya's friend kitten. Once again, Sylvie and Arya make up love games, and the two of them frequently work together to make various cat-themed games. Arya has also made a few games on her own, but some of those tend to be more of an adult focus, so... If you're of age and willing to see that sort of thing, you can find it by searching for Sylvie's games on itch and then learning... Look at that! There's Sylvie! And there's Bobo the cat. I didn't notice these things appearing. Oh! Okay, it might be a different Arya. Arya for one voice. Yeah. Must be a different Arya then. World End Kitten. Anything else up here? The Arya coincidence. Kitten of the Apocalypse. Big Crunch Kittens. This is so goofy. But yeah, like, think about it. If you're experimenting with a game, throwing a bunch of physics-enabled orbs around until the game crashes is an important part of learning, because early forms of learning are figuring out the tools and figuring out how to play with them. And one of the best ways to play with and learn the limits of your tools is to, well, push them to their limits. And yeah, what's more fun than physics-enabled orbs? Apple Universe Kitten. We have to get out of here. Room of 1,000 Snakes. That is a... Oh, Worm. That's a game I desperately want to stream, but that uses a weird, obscure version of Unity Web that I don't think even runs on modern systems. Uh-oh. Worm attack. My recommendation for Room of 1,000 Snakes is to pull up a... Yeah, there's multiple issues with streaming Room of 1,000 Snakes, alas. One, it very, very, very distinctly uses copyrighted music. That is one of the most iconic aspects of it. Two, it uses a version of Unity Web Player that is long out of date. And three, if you look it up on YouTube, there's someone who actually posted a supposed playthrough of it, but didn't have any sound, so the music is lost. And there's another person who posted an upload of it that posted a partial playthrough where the sound balance was out of whack. There's another person who has posted a good video of the game that fully explains the thing in its entirety. And there's another person who uploaded a false version of the video that culminates in a screamer. Room of 1,000 Snakes was made by Tora Horse, and Tora Horse is best known on the stream, I guess, for their work on Neon White. Ben Esposito? Oh, was that the other one? I think it's Ben Esposito. Anyways, we have crashed the universe. I'm gonna build this up until 3,000 just to see if we get another descriptor. My apologies to your ears. Tsuneko the kitten. True game clear. There we go. My friends, we have achieved the true ending. If that's the sound of heaven, I am walking backwards into hell. And we end our game by standing in the center of the star. As we hit single-digit frame rates looking over at the physics-enabled apples. Video games, everyone. Truly magical. And finally, we have Neko Neko RPG. Neko Neko goes on an adventure. 3 endings. Neko Neko goes on an adventure. 3 endings, including game over. Okay, what do we click on? It looks like there are a couple things we can click on. We can click on the sword, we can click on the worm, or we can click on the dark... Oh, we can click on the dark cloud, or we can click on the light cloud. Click on the worm? Okay. Worm says sword and apple cut. Those are also clickable. What do we click on next? Much, much, much. We win! Good job. Sword text. Okay. We win! Let's try apple. Let's try dark cloud. Oh! Rain cloud. Worm grows. Game over. Crushed by worm. Light clouds? Also cut. Okay. Worm, apple. Oh! It was a trade offer. Worm was saying, can we have your sword in exchange for apple? And so now the worm has a sword, and we have an apple. Oh no, something's happening. Apple end. We did it! Yippee! Apple end. And that, my friends... That, my friends, is the full library of published games by Tsuneko. Tsuneko can be found on their YouTube channel, which presumably this is a valid link to. And one of the reasons I really like their work is I look through these and none of these games are anything I've ever heard of. Dust Coins, Print Gallery of an Artist, Orbsorber, The Crow's Room, Wormomancy, Loot Slime, Spring Memories, Boba's Love Story, Y2K Crawler, Bento Days, Element Thief, So Long Oregon. I've heard of that one. That one actually had a original title of F the Oregon Trail, Let's Go Find El Dorado. Quest by Sylvie is another one that they've done. Yes, but all in all, Tsuneko plays a lot of games that I've never heard of, which is a fantastic thing to hear. Here are some super loved difficult games. Super loved games from 2025. Some Sylvie stuff in here, I see. Works they've helped translate. They're a big fan of Anodyne 2 Return to Dust. I know that one. Battle Narf. Yep. It's one I've heard of a couple of times, but don't know anything about yet. Might be one to investigate. Well, in any case, though, I think that's going to do it for today's stream. Thank you all for joining me. And let's see who we can raid on over to. I hope that today's stream is showing you that there really is a fantastic beauty to beginner's works, and there is a beauty to simply wandering around to discover things that you might have never heard of, you know? Tsuneko's stuff is the hallmarks of a beginner, but it's genuinely very beautiful to be able to see the first works by someone who is a beginner. It's a rare opportunity, you know? And then Dragondot and Wavespark 3 are both just fantastic and pretty experiences. A very relaxing time. Gonna send us over to Riverside Wings, who once again is fundraising for surgery and for a trip to California. So join her as she plays Once Upon a Katamari and hashtag California for Bust. And Tsuneko, if you're watching this, I loved your stuff. Thank you for making it, and thank you for allowing me to see it. To another place, my friends.